This is the Emmaljunga Edge Duo on the sports chassis, and today we're going to give you some tips on what to look for if you're buying one of these used. We like this very much as a terrain stroller. The reasons for this are the weight. It's a little over 20 kilos. That makes it nice and sturdy when you're pushing it through snow or over terrain. It also has the nice handle without the hinged adjustment mechanism. It's telescopic instead. For that reason, you can give it a nice pop to get it over obstacles and so on. It also has good suspension, both from the air-filled tires and the classic Emmaljunga suspension system that you have going on there. What you want to look for, though, if you're buying one of these used, I'm going to go over some of the problem points, the things that commonly come in for repair with this model, so you can check them when you're buying it. First is the canopy. You want to make sure that the canopy folds out and kind of sits tightly, because the rivet here can weaken, and that would be something you would need to repair afterwards, and it involves drilling usually. So that's one thing to look out for. The second thing to look out for is the seat, the mechanism that fixes the seat to the chassis. A lot of times the parts inside can get misaligned. You can actually fix this quite easily by opening up the mechanism and realigning the parts, but it is something that can go wrong with the stroller. Another area that you want to look at is the adjustment of the height of the seat. That functions with these two triangular pieces here with the gear teeth. These can become bent, or the rivets can weaken, and that will mean that it will fall out of some positions or won't be able to adjust through some positions. You want to check that you can fold down the chassis and that it's not so difficult to do so. If it is, it means that some of the rivets that hold the overall chassis together have weakened, and the entire chassis is thus misaligned as a result. This can of course also be fixed, but it is also a matter of drilling, and it's not very easy. You want to check that you can flip the handle over to the other side, and there's a little safety lock on this side. You have to lift up. If this doesn't flip over and lock on the opposite side, this means that some of the plastic pieces have become damaged. I'll show you real quick how to do this. Just going to flip it over like this. And if you can't lock it in to this side, it's most likely this part or the inside of this part that have been damaged. And that's at least one function you're losing off of the stroller. Doesn't mean you shouldn't buy it. You can always use it with the handle on the other side, but still. In relation to the handle, again, I said that it's nice with the telescopic mechanism here. That is nice for stability, but you do want to check that the telescopic mechanism does not slide, because there are pieces inside here that can get worn and make it difficult to lock the telescopic handle in various positions, and then it can tend to slide on one side or both, and that's definitely something to look for. Moving down on the chassis, you want to check the brakes, that you can apply the brakes and release the brakes. And this has two brake bars, which is kind of nice. You can brake it on both sides. You can swap the handle. If one of them does get damaged, you can then use the other brake bar. But you want to make sure that the brakes go on and off. And what generally occurs when you have trouble with the brakes is that the pins tend to stick out a bit far on this model. These brake pins that pop into the wheel. And for that reason, if the stroller is braking and somebody is braked and somebody pushes it, the pins can bend, in which case you would need to bend them back, which is not super easy. You have to take off the outside panel in order to do that. One common thing you'll notice with the stroller is that the wheel, when you take it off, the ball bearing will have fallen out of the wheel and be on the axle. It's not super dangerous. You can pop it back in. You can use a little bit of super glue around the inside of the rim to hold it. But it is something to be aware of. You of course want to check the wheels. You want to check that the ball bearings are functional, that the wheel is not too loose on the axle. Replacing the locking mechanism of the wheel is quite difficult on this model. So you want to check those on all of the wheels. And a last thing that you tend to have common problems with on this model is the underneath of the shopping basket. Because it is fabric and does tend to hang low, it can often get ripped, and that would of course require some sewing in order to fix. So those are the things to look out for when you're buying one of these strollers. Of course, check all the small things too, like the belt buckles and so on, the buttons. on the textiles. But those are the major mechanical issues that occur with the stroller that you're going to want to check if you're buying this used. Again, we like the stroller a lot. If you're looking for a terrain stroller, it is definitely a recommended model. In any case, we hope that this video has been helpful. If it has been, we ask you to subscribe, as it helps us to continue making videos in the future. Thank you.